What are your thoughts on the current political climate in Sri Lanka?
Thank you, Shamit. Before we come to the current situation, I think we must go back at least 1 year, or rather more than that. See, let me start with 2019. 2019, 6.9 million people of this country voted for a president, which was followed by the parliamentary election, more or less the same number of votes. A party came to power with almost two-thirds majority. So at that time, there was so much expectation from those people who voted for the new president, the party. I also belong to the same party, and I canvassed heavily for the president. We had expectation that there will be a big difference in the way the country will be run and the country will prosper. Of course, when 2019, when the president contested, the country was already struggling economically. And we thought we can solve all those problems, we can bring prosperity to the people. But unfortunately, all of us know it didn't happen. During the first 2 years of the president's tenure, a lot of things started going wrong. A lot of decisions were challenged not only by the public, but also people within the party. The president and his team, close team, did not adhere to what was promised in the manifesto. To cut a long story short, by the end of 2 years, there was a lot of dissent, even within his own team, by the end of 2 years. Inside the parliament, people started declaring that they are going to be independent and leaving the party. One by one, different MPs started leaving the party, and government almost lost its majority at one point. And then at the same time, the country started running into a lot of financial difficulties, as we all experienced. It came to a situation where there was no gas, no electricity, so much problems, and particularly the middle class got severely affected. People came to the roads, and there was this Aragalaya, which finally resulted in the entire cabinet being replaced first, then the Prime Minister going, and then finally even the President leaving on the 9th of July 2022. So then I thought, as a member of the ruling party at that time, at least now we must give a shot. We must try a different leadership within the party and go back to what we promised and what was not delivered. But that didn't happen because the ruling party, which I also represented, took a very unusual decision to support a person who had come to the parliament from the national list, and already Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the president, had made him prime minister. The majority of the party decided to vote him as the president when the president had to be elected from the parliament, which was a complete distortion of the people's mandate, because 6.9 million people who had voted for Gotabaya Rajapaksa and then for SLPP had outright rejected Ranil Wickremesinghe. I mean, he was their arch enemy. And not only 6.9 million voters, in fact, it is much more than that. It is 11.1 million, because all those people who voted for Sajaba, JVP and other people also have to be counted. Ranil Wickremesinghe's party, UMP, had obtained only 2.1% of the votes at the last general election. So 98% of the people had rejected him. Here, SLPP brings this person as the president. So it's a completely distorted situation where the parliament electing a person rejected by 98% of the public. So in a democratic country, this is not acceptable. In fact, myself and 13 other MPs voted against him at that, and the following day, the first day parliament was held, we also declared independence and we left the government. So we have come to a situation where we need to go back and now check what do people really want, because people's mandate has to be tested. Because if you want the democracy to continue, it must be people's will. So we need to find out what do people want. The best opportunity has come with this local government election, which is due on time. It has already been postponed by 1 year. Now it has to be held in March. So this is the first opportunity and the best opportunity to test what people want. And now we are getting ready for the election. The Election Commission has called for the election. Date has been fixed. But the government, the ruling government under the current president, whom I believe has been rejected by 98% of the people then and still rejected, doesn't want that election to be held. So he's doing everything possible within his power to prevent that. So many instances he has tried that. The latest one is the government printer refusing to print the ballot papers. So here's the situation we are in. a situation which we all must oppose and fight against.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nalaka Godahewa, Member of Parliament of the Freedom People's Alliance. Dr. Godahewa, in your opening remarks, you said that certain members of the government at one point wanted to leave the government. Which period was this?
This was just before the President appointed his second cabinet. This somewhere around February, March period.
So this was all after the milk was spilled and everything was rejected and all that.
When the crisis started, different groups started saying.
But 2021 there was no intention.
It was 2022.
Right. Okay.
2022.
Just want to get
it all happened during about 4 months period.
4 months period. Thank you very much.